The first order on the agenda is call to order. Public comments. Do we have any requests to speak card? Seeing that, we move on to the first agenda item, which is the consent agenda item of approving the minutes of the May 6th meeting.
I so move to approve the May 6th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the minutes are approved. First item for individual consideration.
Thank you. Item 4A is receiver report, holder discussion, and take action on a request for a certificate of appropriateness for facade alterations to 627 West Crawford Street, case number 2025-027H. This is for a residence, which is unusual for this board to typically see, but this fourplex is situated on the west boundary of the district. It's not within the National Register district, but it is within the Commercial Historic Overlay District, and that's why it's coming before all of you. The applicant is requesting to build a wall, which is that yellow piece on the upper story balcony. There are currently 2 windows against the interior wall, and they're asking to remove those and replace those with doors so that there's access to the balcony, and then that wall will provide privacy to the individual tenants. So that is one of the requests. The other is to remove the window that is situated on that wall where Samantha's pointing right now. You can't see it. It doesn't face the alley or any of the public right-of-way, but they feel that taking that out and putting siding there will provide some more security and some privacy. From our standpoint, that's totally fine. All of these can be reversed alterations if they need to be, but they are consistent with the style of the building, and from my standpoint, I would recommend approval of those requested items, and the applicant is here to answer any questions, and I'm available for questions as well.
Care to come forward?
My name is Gayla Simmons.
And your address for the record, please. I'm sorry, your address for the record, please.
627 West Crawford Street.
Any questions, concerns?
So I saw in one of the photos there was a chair in the balcony. Can they not access the balcony currently? Or?
They can, yes. You see, it's kind of hard to see from that, but I did bring you guys some other photos.
I think if you go to the next, the pictures of the rear, there you go.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So right now there's just one access point to the balcony, and this proposal will have multiple points of access to the balcony.
Keep the door that's already there for, fire emergency. If someone was trapped in the stairwell, that would be their only way out. And then there's 2 units upstairs. Each unit would have a door from their bedroom leading to a private balcony space.
And both of them have an existing window like this. You're just replacing the window with an egress.
Correct. I actually think it used to be a door
Yeah.
at one time.
And I had a quick siding question. So it is, I saw that you're going to, I assume, just replace it to match or,
Yes.
okay. And then is the exterior, the primary exterior, is that asbestos siding?
You would have to answer that for me.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. We are just kind of, they make the same siding
To match?
to match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm assuming all the construction, all the structural's gone through the city and
Yes.
all that permitting?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. And
Thank you.
if this is approved, we'll go back to the city and do a change request,
Okay.
because this part has not been approved.
Right.
But we'll get permission if you approve,
Thank you.
of course.
And thank you for the photographs.
You're welcome. Oh, and the other doors would match the door that's already there. We'll build them to match and paint it all to match, so it's all the same color.
It's nice to see this property loved up, so
Exactly.
that's a plus.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a fun project, though. I love that
Gala,
whole place.
we've been in communication. There have been other improvements from a maintenance standpoint. So I approved some of those previously because they were routine maintenance with the rain and things like that, so.
And 4 residential units downtown will be welcome, to be sure.
Well, we're preserving everything. I mean, we've taken shiplap down, we've removed some walls, but we're reusing that. And it's a beautiful place. The wood ceilings, wood floors, we're refinishing it all. And even the areas we had to take flooring out, I was like, be very careful with that. We're putting it all back as close as we found it as we can.
Thank you.
I hope you guys can all come see it
Thank you.
if we ever finish.
Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve a certificate of appropriateness for facade alterations to 627 West Crawford Street.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Tate? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4B. Yes,
I'm recusing.
thank you.
So we have enough to vote.
Yeah, because we had a quorum, so I'll need you guys to vote.
Shall we proceed?
I think because we had a quorum to start. Or do you want to table
Have
it?
I been told in the past, Donna, that in fact 2 people can constitute a quorum? I don't believe that I've ever been in that position. I've been in a position of 3, and there was no question.
Yeah, and the board consists of 5 members, even though you only have 4 right now.
Right,
So a quorum really is 3.
okay, then let's table this.
I think you're gonna have to table it.
This action is tabled then until Mr. Chakosky is back?
And you're gonna have to table item 4B also. Ms. Rhonda is recusing from 4B.
Okay,
All right, we'll proceed with that
Okay.
as well.
okay, moving on to 4C. Receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a request for a certificate of appropriateness to make exterior facade improvements to 728 West Main Street, case number 2025-030H. Okay, we saw this just recently, and if you recall, it was Mr. Marr was here, and you all made some approvals for the ephes to be removed and some paint colors and things like that. We are bringing this back before you because they've now secured a long-term tenant, and these 2 gentlemen are here representing their business endeavor. Those approvals were done in November, and the colors are pretty similar, but there are some changes to it. So, the masonry, the applicant is requesting that the masonry be repaired and painted, and so everything that is currently there will just be painted. So unlike Mr. Marr's proposal to add the ephes, that is no longer on this application. Is that correct? Okay, just want to make sure. They are going to leave the garage doors, which was a discussion that we had previously, so I'm happy to see that. They will be taking off the signage as was previously approved, and then adding their sign to the front. That part I'm not approving today. That'll have to be a separate application for the signage, but that can be done administratively. So before you is just the repair to the brick and the masonry, and then the painting of the masonry. The garage doors, like I said, will remain, as well as the windows in the front. I know the current garage doors, I believe there are window panes in them. So are you proposing to replace those completely, or are you asking to retain those with the windows? Okay. Just wanted to make sure because that's not represented in the image, so that's okay. I just wanted to clarify for the board members. So the paint color is a little darker, I believe, and it's in the same shade or family, but it is a different make or brand of paint. It was Repose Gray, and this is, I can't recall what it was now.
It's Nightclub.
Yeah, Nightclub by Bear. So it's within the same color family as was previously approved. With that, I will turn it over to all of you, and the applicant is here.
Would you care to come forward? Thank you, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Names and address for the record, please.
Logan Kelso. My address is 2703 Flora Lane, Denison, Texas.
My name's Eric Benj. My address is 3951 Oak Creek Circle, Denison, Texas.
Welcome. Questions? I would like to say at the beginning, this is certainly something that we don't have on the street, and the variety of activities is, of course, something that we welcome. So thank you for the vision.
Of course, thank you.
You're welcome.
So originally you were gonna paint the ephes that Repose Gray, was that right?
So I want to clarify, this is a different applicant. They are the tenant, and before it was the property owner that proposed that. So this application would supersede what was previously approved.
Okay. But currently they could do what the previous.
That's correct.
Agreement was, okay. I like the idea too, like,
Yeah, excellent use of the space. It's cool,
I
excited.
just kind of balk a little at that, the color, at least the representation on the images where we're seeing, it's just so dark. I mean, I preferred the gray that was proposed originally, but yeah, I kind of struggle with this dark building outside.
Is this from our palette, the approved color palette already? So we don't.
So the Repose Gray was,
Uh-huh.
this one is not within the same,
Oh.
You know what, I would need Donna to confirm that for me.
Yeah, I didn't match it, but I don't think we had one this dark.
I
Might
think for
be-
the accent, but not the primary.
I would
Yeah.
think for an accent color, it is approved. I also concur that I think that's too much expanse of a very dark color. Right around the corner, there is another building, catty corner across the parking lot from the Mexican restaurant. It too has a huge expanse. It's painted gray, not nearly as dark as this, and even it is pretty imposing in that color of gray.
Okay. And that's something we can always alter. We're not dead set on this. It's just our first idea, and we'll take any consideration to get it to where you guys approve it.
I know if you continued with the original color that was proposed, I would be in favor of all this. Like they were saying, I think it's a neat use for this space, so I'm.
Would it be in our best interest to go with the already approved color so we
Yes.
don't have to come before the board again?
Yes, I think they can write that into their motion.
I think we'd be okay with that. Sight unseen, I guess. Color unseen.
It is much lighter, so,
It's okay.
okay.
It's lighter, it's still a kind of industrial gray, so you achieve that kind of effect. It's just not nearly so dark.
Well, if you guys would be happy with it, then I'm sure we will be happy with it as well.
Do we have a
Well,
motion?
I'm wondering about just giving them some allowance so that if they do see that it is something that is not appealing to you, I mean, it is your business, that you select from the approved colors, then it'll be far more efficient, and that can possibly just go through administratively as well. I'm not sure, right?
But if you're all in
So
agreeance
if the
with that.
original is not to your liking all the way, then, but like I said, it will save time, but do select from the approved colors, and that'll save you this process again. Yep.
We appreciate the gesture.
Do we have a motion?
May I add something before you continue? just so the applicant's aware. We did talk in our meeting that we had about utilizing the parking space, and if you were to put up a fence and things like that, that also needs to come back before this body, just so you're aware. The signage can be a separate application for administrative approval, and as Ms. Bourne said, with the paint color. But if you intend to fence off that parking lot or do something else, then they will need to see that as well.
We would be excited to show you guys that.
I think.
Free
I'm okay
marketing
with
in that app.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
What's your time frame?
We are looking, we're still kind of waiting on the property owner, Mr. Marr. He's still got a few things he needs to get done, but we're hoping to get started within the next couple months as far as the build out. And then hopefully that only takes a month or so,
Excellent,
month or two.
excellent, okay.
Very, very
Hopefully
easy,
before
yeah.
the next year.
As plug and play as we can
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's-
Well, there is that component of a lot of it, right?
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Motion?
Just a moment.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the certificate of appropriateness to make exterior facade improvements to 728 West Main Street with the inclusion that we require the repose gray or other approved color that can be approved by staff.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Hey.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Because of quorum, yeah. Shoot.
This is mine. According to the Texas Open Meetings Act, you guys can't, as long as the quorum's three, if she has to be recused, you guys can still vote on it, but I don't care if you table it. I just let you know, I did have to study the Texas Open Meeting Act, but I do know it's allowed.
Can you repeat that?
So, Texas Open Meeting Act is simple quorum. And so, due to Open Meeting Act stating that if three is the quorum, that anybody who is recused from that can still vote, the simple majority still can vote. But you know, you do your own research, but I just wanted to let you know that I did have to study this in college.
If you're good with that.
That is my understanding. However, I defer to Karen because this is her area.
If that's what's stipulated, then of course, that would be our recommendation.
I'm not trying to.
No, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you. So at this point, Ms. Avery, do you want us to revert to the one that we tabled before?
Do that also. Is the applicant here?
So, would you care for us to revert to that before
Yes,
we
ma'am.
carry on?
Okay, we'll go back to 4B.
Or if you wanted to do 4D right now, since
You tell me how you'd prefer. 4D. Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, this is for item 4D, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a request for a certificate of appropriateness to install an automated teller machine at 231 West Main Street, case number 2025-031H. 231 is right across the street, diagonal from us, where the Deviled Egg Company is and Crayas Games. The applicant is requesting to place an ATM machine. If you look out your window, it's like right in the middle of the white wall. If you recall, the bank was located there before, and the safes are still inside the building. The ATM would back up right to where that safe is, so the alignment is appropriate. The zoning ordinance allows ATMs everywhere, so that is not an issue. The applicant then is requesting that an awning be placed above the ATM with a light right under the awning. You can see that the light is attached to the wall in the side elevation photo that Sam is pointing to. With that, staff recommends approval. There will be signage, and that also needs to come before, that'll be a separate application to me through the sign company. I have not seen that yet, but that rendering is essentially what it'll look like. And with that, I'll turn it over to you.
I'm Will Bain. Don't hate me for my address. I'm 11810 Oak Ridge Drive in Kingston, Oklahoma. So sorry, guys.
We know there's life across the river.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you hearing it today.
Thank you for coming so well prepared.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else you'd care to?
What I'd like to add on to this is the first step for us to put a bank into downtown. We are working on, I've recently opened up the branch in Sherman, Texas, right behind Olive Garden. We've been in the community for 3 years. This is our step. We hired somebody. We are actually renting a suite inside of that building. And this ATM just helps complete really our loan production office to allow people who have deposits to do deposits, whether cash or check, through the ATM. It's a convenience for downtown, and we hope that we can provide that banking for downtown that has all left over the last couple of years. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Questions, concerns? Do I have a motion, Mr. Zapata?
Sure. I move that we approve a certificate of appropriateness to install an automated teller machine at 231 West Main Street.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you all very much, and I
Thank you.
apologize if I overstepped with
You
my.
did
No, no, no,
Okay.
thank you.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you. We appreciate that.
Okay, at this time, we'll go back to 4B. I just told Rhonda to stay out there by hand motion, so. Receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a request for a certificate of appropriateness for the exterior cafe strand lighting at 226 West Main Street, case number 2025-028H. Ms. Bourne is the applicant, and that is why she's recusing herself. During Christmas time, there were some cafe lights placed under the awning, and they were professionally installed, and she's requesting that they stay indefinitely now, similar to that of Cafe Blackbird. Of course, this is a new construction that was completed, I guess, about a year and a half ago now. But there is lighting pointing above onto the lion's heads, as you can see, but there was nothing underneath. So it was a rather dark space, and until those were added, it was dark. And so she wanted to add those for some safety measures for the tenants upstairs, as well as the businesses that do stay open later in those winter months when it's darker. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
So do you think that would probably likely be more of the standard now for awnings? Is that what
I
we'll be
do.
including?
Mm-hmm.
These permanent type
Correct.
lights
Yep.
underneath awnings? Okay.
Yep.
I don't have a big issue with it. If you
I have
do.
no issue
Yeah,
with it.
so.
Do I have a motion?
Yeah, sure. I move that we approve a certificate of appropriateness for the exterior cafe strand lighting at 226 West Main Street.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries.
Grant, would you mind getting Rhonda? Thank you. Okay, we are going to move forward with item 4E as it's presented, and then we will have a discussion on this afterwards. Item 4E, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a request for a certificate of appropriateness to make exterior facade improvements to 110-112 South Rusk Street, case number 2025-032H. South Rusk is the building with the character-defining features, right on the corner down here. They had started work on the south side. You all had made those approvals to Mr. Baca and Red River Title to replace the windows, opening up the sections that were historically there. They've started all of that work, and so you can really see where those openings are. This request is coming from the property owner on the north side. So if you recall, at the time that the approval was made for the south side, there were discussions about making sure that the building was consistent, and yet we didn't yet have those, the northern property owner had not engaged in that yet. So This request came to us prior to anything happening last week with this building, and so I'm requesting that you move forward with making the approvals as you did for the southern facade, and we'll leave this case just like that. We'll make the approval if you're comfortable with it, and then I'll take any questions and give you an update on that during the staff update part. But in order to keep some consistency and in the event that the facade can be saved, we want to make sure that the approvals are in place so that they can start work as quickly as possible. So just like the southern end, the window openings, everything is identical. They'll be putting the windows on the northern side where the alley is. That butterfly mural will not be remaining because the paint color was a light tan, if you recall. And Mr. Baca had explained to us that he wanted to see how the brick absorbed the paint, and so those were the 4 options that he provided to us. The windows will all be replaced, the doors will be replaced, opening up was historically there, so it's identical to the southern side. That's what's being presented to you. The same with the tie rod awnings. No lighting had been approved or presented for the southern end, and it's not being presented in this application either. It's just a total flip-flop of what you had approved before. So with that, I will entertain any questions regarding what's being proposed in this application, which is just the facade improvements.
Same materials and everything. Okay.
Same thing. Mr. Baca's office is also designing this part, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all the same.
And the paint will be consistent all the way around.
That's right.
Okay.
Mhm. We had encouraged that in conversation with them to make sure that everything was consistent across the facade.
I move to approve the request for certificate of appropriateness to make exterior facade improvements to 110 to 112 South Rusk Street.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We had one signage approval for 415 West Main Street, but I'd really like to address the situation with the Rusk building. As you know, and Kirk is here too, he's been more involved as the building official, but the roof collapsed
Friday?
in the center area to the southern portion, more in that area on Friday afternoon, at which time the street was closed and the building was assessed. The fire marshal was there, Kirk was there, fire department. We have received an engineer's report at this point in time. However, that has not gone to council, and so I'm not willing to share as much with all of you until that does go to council. I've been asked to have a letter sent to them by this afternoon, and so I need to confer with Kirk as to what that looks like. The building, any action that they take has to come before all of you. So whether the recommendation from their engineer is demolition or the facade can be saved or anything like that, it has to come back before this body. Kirk does have the ability as the chief building official to issue a COA if it's an emergency situation that renders safety to the public or to anybody else. Thankfully, nobody was in that building. They had just stopped working on the southern portion, and they are not supposed to be in the northern portion until it comes to you. So that had been addressed the day before, I believe. So thankfully, nobody was hurt. But we do anticipate the street is opened again, and so that threat to the public is not, we don't believe that it stands. But once we review the engineer's report and letter, it'll give us some guidance on how to handle the situation. Once I issue something to council, it'll then come to all of you, so you know, so that you all have the same information. But should Kirk determine that there's an emergency situation, then he has the ability to move forward with that. But we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect what's there still. It's been there a really long time, and so we met with both property owners and the contractor yesterday. They understand that everything needs to come before this body before they can take any action. So,
Thank you.
any questions?
Thank you for how expediently that process was held. Thank you.
That was Kirk and the fire marshal, so.
Well done, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on things? No?
Nope.
Okay, I think that's it then.
The meeting is adjourned at 12:30. 1.